In the cold silence between distant stars, one man closed his eyes during a routine jump and opened them with the voice of an alien queen inside his mind. Their thoughts collided like fire and ice, forging a bond neither species could understand, while an unstoppable force crept closer to erase every living world. This is the story of how a lone human and an ancient queen stood between survival and oblivion. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to the channel and like the video, and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. Now, let's jump into the story. Noah Vance tightened the last bolt on the engine bay panel and let it click into place with a tired sigh. After 14 long hours of crawling through cables and heat ducts, the Odyssey's power core finally hummed with its old, steady rhythm again. His back ached, his arms felt heavy, and every breath tasted faintly of metal from the recycled air. Deep space had a way of wearing down even the strongest minds. He stood in the quiet corridor, helmet tucked under his arm, while the soft glow of the night shift lights painted the walls a pale blue. The ship felt half asleep. Distant machinery hummed in gentle layers, and somewhere far off, the ventilation fans whispered their endless song. Most of the crew slept. Only a handful remained awake, silent and watchful in the deep hours between stars. Noah walked slowly toward his small cabin on Crew Deck 3. His boots made soft echoes on the metal floor as he passed the observation port. Out the stars floated like cold sparks scattered across an ocean of black. They seemed close enough to touch, yet impossibly far. He had once loved looking at them, but after months in deep space, they felt more like silent watchers than companions. He reached his quarters, a space no bigger than a storage locker, but private enough for his quiet nature. He liked solitude, always had. Machines made sense to him. They spoke in clicks, hums, and blinking lights, and they only broke when something could be fixed. People were more complicated. He stripped off his grease-stained coveralls, stepped into the tiny shower, and let warm, recycled water run over his skin. It washed away the dirt, but not the deep tiredness in his bones. When he finished, he pulled on a clean shirt and sat on the edge of his bunk. The Odyssey's computer dimmed the lights automatically, as if it could sense his exhaustion. The ship was preparing for a scheduled fold jump. The drive's soft vibration reached through the floor like a faint heartbeat. Noah had experienced dozens of fold jumps before. He knew the pattern: the dimming lights, the sudden pull in the gut, the way space bent for a few minutes and then settled again. He lay back on his narrow bunk and stared at the ceiling. Usually, the hum of the engines calmed him. Usually, the rhythm of the ship helped him sleep. But tonight, something felt off, like static at the edge of hearing. The ship shuddered gently. The lights flickered once, then steadied. The fold drive roared to life, a low vibration that filled the air and rattled through the walls. Noah closed his eyes, waiting for the usual wave of nausea to roll through and pass. Instead, he felt a spark at the base of his skull. It was soft at first, like a tiny electric touch. Then it spread, bright and sharp, racing across his mind. Colors poured behind his eyelids, colors that had no names. It was like listening to chords of light. And then a voice spoke. It was not sound. It was meaning. The words formed directly in his thoughts. Who speaks in the drift? Noah's eyes snapped open. The cabin was still dark. The fold drive still thundered. Yet he was not alone in his head. Something vast and careful pressed at the edge of his mind, as if testing its shape. I am Queen Salith of the Vorathi. You touch the deep channel, though you are not of our kind. Noah's heart pounded. His mouth went dry. He had no idea how to answer. But somehow, his thoughts shaped a reply. He pictured his name, the Odyssey, the jump. He pictured confusion. The presence flared with surprise. Human, chaotic mind. How do you reach where you do not belong? He tried to say he had not reached anything. The ship had jumped. Something had happened. Now they were connected. A sudden flood of images struck him. Tall spires grown from living stone. Cities glowing with soft light. Elegant figures with faceted eyes walking through corridors that pulsed like veins. Then the vision was gone, leaving only the smell of rain that was not real. The full jump ended with a jolt. The lights steadied. The hum returned to normal. Noah sat up, breathing hard. His cabin looked the same, but nothing felt the same. He whispered aloud, "What are you?" And the answer came softly inside his mind. I am a voice of millions. I am a ruler who cannot rest. I am lost. Noah stared into the small mirror by his bunk. His own eyes stared back, but they seemed deeper than before, as if they held a second horizon. For the first time in his life, he felt truly seen by something not human. The ship sailed on, through endless space, and Noah lay awake in the quiet, knowing sleep would not come easily again. Noah Vance sat in the mess hall the next morning, staring at the untouched cup of coffee in front of him. The liquid rippled slightly as the Odyssey glided through empty space. The hum of the ship felt louder than usual, as if it pressed against his skull. He had not slept. Every time he closed his eyes, the Queen's voice whispered in his thoughts like distant thunder. He kept his eyes down as crew members passed by with trays of food, chatting in soft morning voices. The ordinary rhythm of life felt unreal. How could they talk about meal schedules and engine checks when something ancient was lodged inside his head? "You look awful," said Amelia Hart, the ship's communications officer. She slid into the seat across from him, her sharp eyes studying his face. "Bad dreams?" "Something like that," Noah muttered. Before Amelia could reply, Dr. Lucas Marin entered the mess hall. He was the Odyssey's chief xenobiologist, calm and methodical, with a habit of noticing what others. He walked straight to Noah's table and lowered his voice. "Captain wants to see you. Now." Noah followed him down the corridor, his footsteps heavy. The captain's ready room smelled faintly of old leather and metal polish. Captain Reese Marlowe stood by the window, hands behind his back, staring out at the stars. His silver hair caught the pale light from the viewport. "Dr. Marin tells me we recorded unusual neural activity from your quarters during the fold jump," Marlowe said without turning. "Spikes that don't match human brain patterns. Care to explain?" Noah hesitated. Telling them the truth could make them think he had lost his mind. But keeping it secret felt worse. He took a slow breath. "I think something contacted me during the jump," he said. "Not a hallucination. Something real. It's spoken my thoughts. Marin's eyes narrowed. Describe it. She called herself Queen Salith. She showed me things. Cities not made by human hands. Living structures. And she said our minds are linked somehow. Captain Marlowe finally turned. His expression was calm, but hard. You understand how this sounds? Yes, Noah said quietly. That's why I need proof. Marin tapped his tablet, pulling up the recorded brain scans. His neural patterns changed during the jump. They became structured, layered, like overlapping signals. I have never seen anything like it in a human brain. It's either the most complex hallucination ever recorded, or he really did make contact. Marlowe studied Noah for a long moment. Can this presence tell us something we can verify? Noah closed his eyes and focused inward. The Queen's presence stirred like a distant tide. Her attention brushed his thoughts, curious and cold. He formed the question carefully. Show me something true. A rush of images came. A small planet nearby with a sulfur-streaked atmosphere and a single glowing moon. He felt, she says, the third planet in this system has nitrogen and sulfur gases. It has one large moon with glowing plant life on its dark side. She says her people visited 2 centuries ago. Marin quickly cross-checked with long-range sensors. Moments later, his mouth opened in disbelief. The atmospheric readings match exactly, and the moon has faint bioluminescent signatures. Our instruments had not confirmed that until now. Captain Marlowe's jaw tightened. That's proof enough for me. But this raises bigger questions. What does she want? Before Noah could answer, the Queen's voice whispered sharply in his mind. You are in danger. His breath caught. Her tone carried a weight that froze his blood. Danger from what? He thought. A pause. Then her answer came like ice across his thoughts. From my own kind. They fear what they do not understand. They will come to silence you before you can speak to them. Noah's hands trembled on the edge of the table. He forced his. She says others of her kind will come. They see us as a threat. They might try to stop this connection by force. Captain Marlowe stood straighter. Then we prepare for first contact under the assumption it may not be peaceful. Marin exhaled slowly. This could be humanity's greatest discovery, or our last mistake. Noah felt the Queen retreat slightly, her voice fading like a distant signal. But one final thought lingered in his mind, cold and clear. The silence is coming, and if we fail, your stars will go dark as well. The Odyssey drifted through silent space like a lone spark between dying coals. Far ahead, the alien outpost floated above a cold, dead planet. Its surface gleamed faintly under the light of distant stars. Even from kilometers away, Noah Vance could see that the structures were not built in any human sense. They curved and twisted like coral branches, glowing with faint pulses of blue light. On the bridge, the air felt sharp with anticipation. This was no training simulation, no theory in a textbook. This was real contact, the first meeting between humankind and another thinking species. Captain Reese Marlowe stood at the center console, arms folded tightly across his chest. His voice was steady, but his eyes were hard. The outpost sent a signal, he said. They are willing to meet. They request only one human enters their station. Noah's stomach tightened. The Queen's quiet presence stirred in his mind. She was nervous too. Amelia Hart spoke up from communications. "Sir, Noah isn't stable. We've all seen the scans. His brain is under constant strain." "I can handle it," Noah said. His voice sounded firmer than he felt. "If anyone else goes, they might see it as aggression. They chose me because of the link." Dr. Lucas Marin stood near the medical console. "We can monitor him from the shuttle. If anything goes wrong, we pull him out immediately." Marlowe's gaze swept across the crew, then returned to Noah. "You go in. Hart and Marin will watch from the shuttle. If the situation turns hostile, we abort. Understood?" "Understood," Noah said, though his heart beat like thunder. 2 hours later, the small shuttle slipped free of the Odyssey and glided toward the alien outpost. The planet beneath them was a cracked sphere of ash, long dead, its surface marked by ancient impact scars. The outpost hung above it, like a silver spiderweb glowing in the dark. Inside the shuttle, Noah sat in silence. The Queen's thoughts brushed against his like cool wind. "They fear you," she whispered. "They think your chaos will spread like fire among them." "Will they hurt me?" Noah thought. A pause. Then, "Not if they believe you are my chosen. But you must not show fear. Fear invites attack." The shuttle docked with a soft shudder. Noah's suit filtered the alien air, though his readout said it was breathable. 3 tall figures waited at the far side of the docking bay. They stood perfectly still, their thin limbs folded close, their heads tilted slightly like curious birds. Their eyes were large and faceted, glimmering like dark glass. Their pale skin shimmered with shifting colors, as if catching light from another world. Noah's breath caught. He had seen them in the Queen's memories. But seeing them in flesh sent a shock through him. They were beautiful and unsettling, like walking sculptures of bone and silk. The leader stepped forward and spoke. The sound was like wind chimes struck underwater. Noah could not understand the words, but the Queen's voice translated instantly inside his mind. "This is Subcommander Vera. She welcomes the one who speaks in the deep channel." Noah swallowed hard. "Tell her we are honored," he whispered. Vera gestured with delicate hands, and the other two fell into step behind her. Noah followed as they walked deeper into the outpost. The corridors were alive. The walls pulsed faintly, glowing in waves like the breathing of a great beast. The floor felt soft under his boots, and faint music hummed from the structure itself. They entered a vast chamber, lined with shifting displays of light and star maps. Entire sectors of space were marked in red. The Queen's voice tightened in Noah's mind. "These are the systems the silence has consumed," she said. 3 more in the last cycle alone." Vera spoke again, her tone sharp and urgent. The Queen translated at once. She warns that the silence grows faster. It will reach their core worlds within 2 of your years. Noah stared at the fading stars on the display. Each red mark was a dead system, gone as if it had never been. He felt a cold weight settle in his chest. Marin's voice crackled in his earpiece from the shuttle. "Ask how it destroys entire systems," Noah asked, and Vera activated another display. It showed a sun surrounded by 6 planets. Then, in an instant, all of it vanished into black nothing. "It is not a weapon," the Queen whispered. "It is erasure. When it touches matter, that matter ceases to exist." Noah's hands trembled. "Then we are not ready for what is coming," he murmured. Vera's faceted eyes fixed on him. She spoke again, softer now. "She says if they cannot stop it, nothing will survive. Not them, not humans, not any stars at all," the Queen translated. Noah stood in the quiet chamber under dim alien stars, and for the first time, he felt the weight of two civilizations pressing on his shoulders. Noah Vance stood in the alien chamber, surrounded by glowing maps of dying stars. The red marks spread like a disease across the galaxy, and every one of them was a world erased by the silence. Behind him, the tall figures of the Varathi delegation watched in still silence. They seemed carved from moonlight and fear. The Queen's voice whispered in his mind, quiet but urgent. "The silence will reach this outpost soon, and after that, it will come for your worlds too." Noah pressed his hand to his temple. The connection to her was burning hotter now, like a sun behind his eyes. "We can warn Earth," he said softly. "We can fight it together." Her reply came slow and sorrowful. "My people have tried. For centuries, we have fought it. Nothing survives its touch. Weapons fail, plans crumble, order shatters. Then what's left?" he whispered. The Queen's answer carried both disordered will. The silence cannot read what it cannot predict. Outside the chamber, the Odyssey's alarm klaxons echoed faintly through Noah's earpiece. Amelia's voice broke through static. "Noah, hostile contacts inbound. 15 Varathi warships approaching. Weapons primed." Noah felt the Queen's shock. She saw the rebel fleet through his eyes, as if they were her own. "They come to destroy the link," she said. "They believe you have corrupted me." Dr. Marin's voice cut in, strained. "They'll reach us in minutes. If we run, they'll hunt us. If we fight, they'll tear the Odyssey apart." Noah stared at the red marks on the map. If they failed here, nothing else would matter. The Queen's voice rose like a storm inside him. "There is one chance. We can merge fully. My mind and yours combined into something new. We could control the outpost's defenses with perfect unity." "What would it do to me?" Noah asked. "You would not be entire, and you may not survive the merging at all." His heart pounded. The silence was coming. The warships were closing in. The choice was simple and impossible. "Do it," he said. Light exploded behind his eyes. His body arched as the Queen poured through the connection like molten fire. Her memories slammed into him in waves. Centuries of rule. Endless networks of minds. The first time she saw her world from orbit. The night she was crowned in a hall of living crystal. Her logic wrapped around his chaotic human spark, and something new formed in the center of their shared mind. Noah's eyes snapped open. Golden flecks swirled in his brown irises. His voice carried alien harmonics as he whispered, "We are stable." The Varathi around him froze in shock. The Queen's thoughts spoke through him like twin voices in harmony. The outpost's living walls awakened at their command. Bioluminescent veins flared with light as massive organic cannons unfurled from the structure. Outside, the rebel fleet opened fire streams of burning energy tearing through space. Noah and the Queen thought as one. Her precision guided his instincts. His unpredictability twisted her perfect strategies into something the enemy could not follow. Beams of searing light lanced from the outpost's defenses, striking with flawless accuracy. Enemy ships reeled, caught in a storm of impossible patterns. Within minutes, the rebel fleet was shattered. Their ships drifted, disabled but alive. The battle was over before the Odyssey even arrived to help. Inside the chamber, Noah stood very still. His breathing was calm. The Queen's vast mind coiled gently around his thoughts, like a great creature sleeping beside him. Captain Marlowe's voice crackled through his earpiece. "Noah, are you still you?" Noah closed his eyes. He could still remember sunlight on Earth's oceans. He still felt love for the crew who had become his family. But he could also see through the Queen's ancient and taste the memories of stars that had died before humanity was born. "I'm still Noah," he said, "and I'm also more." Marin's voice trembled. "What are you now?" Noah looked at the map of fading stars. His words carried both human warmth and alien gravity. "We are the bridge between chaos and order, and we will fight the silence together." The Queen's presence filled him with quiet pride. Her people would follow. His people would rise, and somewhere beyond the cold edge of space, the silence waited. But it would not find them divided. It would find two minds, one purpose.